Rich DeMarco on the Army Football Report. On Saturday, the Black Knights take on Western Kentucky at Michie Stadium, a noon kickoff time. It'll be Senior Day, and we'll talk with Army first-classman offensive tackle Michael Kime coming up in just a moment. But up first, here are comments from Army head coach Rich Ellerson's weekly news conference previewing Saturday's game against the Hilltoppers.
Thanks. We're hurting, and we don't have a lot of time. We got to turn this around because once we're going to face a team this week that's very different than what we faced the last 2 weeks. Their running attack is as productive as any is in the country, and defensively they've already seen our style of play. They played Navy earlier in the year, ran a version of our defense against Navy, had great success. So again, they've got a belief system built around us. They've already had a shot at. Now the good news is we have an idea where they're going to be. That's not, they got some really good folks along the front there that are going to be tough to handle. And then defensively, we've got to be able to get a really good back on the ground and then hold up against a very efficient passing attack. Bobby Pertino, their head coach, is a little bit out of character, out of personality right now because he's taking advantage of a really gifted running back and a determined running game. And but they are multi-dimensional. They've got several personnel sets that are problematic for us in multiple formations. So again, we've got to shake this thing off and get ourselves focused forward and have some fun. And we've played in 2 games where I think we had really high expectations for ourselves. There were high expectations for us in those games, and we didn't handle those expectations very well. We didn't play as well as we want to play. We didn't coach as well as we want to coach, and maybe getting ourselves back into this underdog mentality is where we need to to let it go and have some fun and as I say, nothing special in this game or in anything happens without enthusiasm. And frankly, we're as tight as a drum, at least on the defensive side of the ball, and that shows because when you're tight like that, you fracture, and that's what we saw. We saw some fractures. It's what's frustrating. And this is on me, but there's the same play and the same defense with all the same players on the field, and sometimes we're just fine, and sometimes, as I say, we're fractured. So it's a consistency of play, not the inability to play, not the inability to be right, but the inability to be consistently right or have enough guys, because everybody's not going to be perfect on every play, but enough guys that are doing what we're asking them to do that I can get to the moment, because that's where I've let these guys down. I'm not getting them to play consistently together. As you know, I love our team. I don't always love all the things our team does, but our seniors they've done such a great job of trying to manage them. And I thought the team, and I give the seniors credit, we were in a good place emotionally going into that contest. And those guys have worked really hard to keep it together. And that group has been banged up. As you know, we've got some guys like Hayden Tippett and Thomas Holloway who have been, right in the middle, and of course Ray Maples, who have been right in the middle of the effort, and they haven't been able to get out there on the field with us for the last few weeks, and that's killing them because it makes them, as hard as they work to keep this thing together and as hard as they work to keep the focus, they're not out there between the white lines to help with that effort. So again, I love these guys. They've been through an awful lot together. They've redoubled their effort. They've bought into what we're doing. And this is another great challenge for them down the stretch here because, again, we've been dished up something we didn't want, we don't like, but we've got a challenge in front of us. We got an opportunity to play and that's hard, but frankly, we've got the right guys on the job.
That's Army head coach Rich Ellerson. It's Army in Western Kentucky on Saturday afternoon. Michael Kime, one of the Army first-classmen, getting set to play their final game at Michie Stadium. And I know we're still a few days away, Mike, but thoughts going through your mind? How are you feeling this week?
I feel great, honestly, and I know this senior class is really excited to have our last game at Michie Stadium. It's going to be really strange to feel like this is the last time we're going to take the field as an Army football player with these guys, and so I know that the class is really excited, and I know that we're a little nervous, but definitely it's going to be a good time to reflect on how far this class has come.
How has your experience been helping lead this team this year as one of the first-classmen captains?
It's been it's had a lot of ups and downs. This season has been great in some aspects and disappointing in others. So I've learned a lot about leadership, though, not only leading these guys, but about myself as a leader. And it's a lot easier to lead when you have such good guys underneath you. And I know the other captains would definitely agree with me.
You're going to be out on the field Saturday with your parents, your father, Bill, a former Army football player, an offensive lineman in his own right. How has it been sharing the Army football experience with him?
It's been fantastic. Our relationship has gotten a lot closer because of it. And, now I really understand a lot of the things they used to tell me when I was a kid that mean a whole lot more now than they did before. So for me, I think it's going to be just as emotional for me as it will be for him. When we take the field and we hear our family's name announced.
Well, Michael, thanks for a couple of minutes. Best of luck Saturday against Western Kentucky.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
It's Army and WKU at Michie Stadium. A noon kick time on Saturday, Senior Day. Make sure you get in your seats early as the Army first-classmen will be honored prior to kickoff. With the Army Football Report, for Night Vision, I'm Rich DeMarco.